Unlike most everybody else, you're not long dollar.
No. We think that the dollar is actually likely to weaken this year against the euro and against most of the major currencies.
And why again?
And that's largely because of the burgeoning double deficit that the US have. Fiscal deficit and the trade deficit. Now, the fiscal deficit is likely to widen because of the fact that the Trump administration wants to increase infrastructure spending by about $1 trillion over the next 5 to 10 years. If you have a widening fiscal deficit, it's very difficult for you to actually have a currency that actually strengthens at the same time as well, because that basically means that your fundamentals are actually weakening. If he goes ahead with the...
Well, with the exception that the U.S. can print its own money, so...
Absolutely, but the more you print, the weaker the dollar becomes, right? And we've seen that happening from 2009 all the way to like just a couple of years ago. And on top of that, if Trump comes in with the recommended tax overhaul that he wants to, reducing corporate tax rates from like 35% to 20%, that in turn is going to mean that the revenues, actually, the government fundamentals are actually going to weaken even further. Because it takes quite some time before that translates into stronger economic growth, before actually the revenue comes back in. So I think given all that in place, the dollar is like to weaken on that front. But on the other hand, on the Eurozone side, we've seen that the Eurozone economy is actually now doing really well. Last year, growth came in at 1.7 to 1.8%, outperforming even the US economy. Inflation in January was actually at 2%. It's a matter of time that the ECB will have to actually taper. You put those two factors together, weak dollar is pretty much in the cards.